such a blessed opportunity for myself to be sitting next to Khampa Rinpoche. It is always wonderful to hear what he has to share and to get Rinpoche to talk about things that matter to you. We also very special people who I've never, Chencho I've spoken to, but Dechen, I've never really had an opportunity to sit with her. I'm again thankful to Rinpoche that you've managed to bring us together, and I really look forward to the conversation we're going to have. And of course, you know Chencho Gyeltshen, who's seated next to Dechen, our football star, hashtag CG number 7. He basically got dragged to Lungtenzampa School by me today, so he said please don't mind his slippers and his clothes because I didn't really give him time to change, so we're going to be late for Lungtenzampa. But before we get into the session and introductions that Chencho themselves will do, I believe we have a short video, and it's about a 3-minute video. So we will, if we could have your attention on the screen, so we'll watch the video first, then we will get into the panel discussion. About the video in a bit when we get to Rinpoche. But welcome to the panel discussion between dream and reality, be your true self, right? I'm sure you all are familiar with the title of the talk today. I would, before we get into the discussion, would now like to request as well as Chencho to give a brief introduction to themselves.
Hi, good afternoon. You know, when I was invited to participate in this event, My first instinct was to try and run in the opposite direction. I tried to squirm my way out of it because I felt inadequate. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. And I haven't done this in so long, you can see I'm still a little nervous. But yeah, the last time I went up to give a talk in an auditorium like this, I remember was in the 9th grade. I was supposed to give my prefect speech and I got up on stage and I forgot everything. My mind went completely blank. So I was so afraid that it was going to be a repetition of what happened almost 30 years ago. But I'm glad that I can still, retrieve some of the information that is there in my brain. But anyway, so you can see I was not very successful in trying to squirm my way out. Rinpoche convinced me to come and participate. And even though I was feeling so inadequate, Rinpoche said to come and participate as a mother. And that in itself empowered me. What greater role do we have in our lives than, as women, all the women here will agree, our greatest role is that of being a parent, and for us women, a mother. And Rinpoche said, think of the audience as your children. I thought that was such a beautiful thought. To think of all of you as my children gives me the opportunity and openness, freedom, the liberty to speak openly from my heart and know that you all will not judge me. And it's such a wonderful feeling and I'm so happy to be here. But to get back to the point of why we are here, is to talk about dreams and reality. If I am to talk from my own personal experience, we go on dreaming for the rest of our lives. It doesn't stop with you, it starts, I'm sure all of you all will agree, your dreams must have started when you're as far back as you can remember. As a 3-year-old, my own children, my sons wanted to be Superman. Actually, my daughter also wanted to be Superman. And I was saying, no, be a fairy princess. She said, no, I want to be a Superman. Okay, fine, be a Superman. And so our dreams start from a very young age. And it continues, it will go on for the rest of your lives. Even me, at this age, I still have dreams. Oh, my dream is to be young again. Maybe not to be sitting in the class like this, but I would love to be young again. Who wouldn't want to know? To have energy, to be enthusiastic, to be excited, instead of feeling like at our age that the whole world's burden rests on your shoulders. But yeah, we go through that also. But to get back to dreams and reality, we all have dreams. Very often, those dreams are not realized. In fact, most often, those dreams are not realized. What do we do about it? I was saying in school, we are taught history, geography, maths. My goodness, we have to learn so much about things that we may not use at all in our lives. But the things that matter the most, I feel, as a parent, is when my child is sad, what can he do? He's never taught that in class. Have you ever been taught, has the teacher ever come and said, when you're sad, do A, B, C, D, take 2 potatoes, put it under your arm, jump up and down. There's no formula for when you're feeling sad or depressed, is there? No, no one's taught us. I wish someone had, because it would have made my life so much easier. And so as a parent, my endeavor was to try and see what I could address in my child to make his life happier. Even when his dreams didn't come true. I knew that my 3-year-old son would never be a Spider-Man. I definitely wasn't going to make my daughter a Spider-Man. That was for sure. And so we know that dreams are not always realized, but it's not the end of the world. It may seem like it, and it feels terrible, but it is not the end of the world. We have access, we can take help from our friends, from our family, and I was saying even for those of us whose families are small, and some of you may be coming from eastern Bhutan, northern parts of Bhutan, I don't know, may not be here from Thimphu, but I'm sure there's still somebody that you can talk to, that you can trust. And we need to know that even when our dreams don't come true, it's okay. And that even though we feel bad, it's okay to feel bad. I was saying, no one tells us that it's okay to feel bad. It's okay to feel happy. But no one tells us that it's okay to feel bad. My son and my children would come home and really feel terrible sometimes and say, I feel so terrible. And I would turn around and tell them, you know what? It's okay to feel terrible. That's a part of being a human being. We think that for us to be happy, we need to only have our dreams realized. We need to be happy all the time.
People need to be saying nice things about us all the time. We need to be successful, we need to be rich, we need to be, okay, fine. It's great being successful and rich, but at the same time, it's also okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel bad. It's okay when your dreams are shattered. It doesn't feel good, no doubt about it, but it's okay. And you have to know that there are ways and means to deal with it. And I am sure that Rinpoche later on, when it comes to giving you advice on what we can do, Rinpoche is the expert here, so I would like to leave that for a little later, as the answers are a little bit more complex and complicated. So Rinpoche, if you can. But just as a parent, to share my experiences, my children have dreams, and they go on dreaming. I have 4 children, right from the ages of 26 to 15, and each one is so different. Like all of you all are so different from each other, so there's no one formula. I mean, I wish I had a quick fix. I could say, oh, I'm here as a parent, you know what, the next time your dream is shattered, you do this. It doesn't work like that. All of us are so different. Each of us has, it's relative. What works for you may not work for you, may not work for him. What breaks your heart may be making hers. It's so different for each individual, so there's no quick fix. And but there are ways that we can deal with how we feel. Because what happens when dreams are shattered? Can anyone answer what happens when your dreams are shattered? You feel sad. No? And? Yeah, that's a very normal feeling. I don't think anyone feels happy when their dreams are shattered. So I think it's so normal to have these feelings of sadness and to have all these negative emotions. It's not nice, but it's okay. And then, like I said, there is a way out of it, and Rinpoche is going to teach you how to, deal with it. Now the onus lies on Rinpoche.
But is also here to basically talk about what kind of relationship you can have with your parent, the kind of relationship she shares with her children. She might not have a put your potatoes under your armpit kind of a solution for unhappiness, but she might have, I don't know, the different experiences she's had with her children that maybe some of you may relate to when it comes to dealing with sadness, dealing with defeat, dealing with not having your dreams realized. But has a lot of stories to share with you. I heard so much from her in the last half an hour I spent with her before coming and sitting here in the auditorium. But before we get her to share the stories, I'd also now like to invite Chencho Gyeltshen to talk a bit about his dream and his reality.
Football store mom in this. Nagi yo saru football team. The Maraki to the team Jumala Kachabiru. The Kalu Ransikitore Umona, Laludi, Pechadan Nona, the Laludi Shapratinina, Laludi Shaprachabnina, the Manumuru Lashaduala to the Tuada Rangi Judup, the Rangi Shiovala, the Rangi Judupti, the Mabe Wachimola, Pe Narazum Shavachina, the Mariki Toadi, Toadi Kansna Vala football. The Rangi Shiovala, Rangi Juduptita, and the Naiboji Naiti Kansina Dumola. The Rangito on the TV watching, Ladikacha, you should just.
Brief introduction, wasn't it? Yes? So I'm going to be asking a few more questions to Chencho as we go along. Chencho is very comfortable speaking in Zonghate. Kodanga chapter the Zonghana at the Lapto. Tachi Nimagi Shugo Sodenga Chichi Zonghana Lapchi. He's very expressive when he talks in Zongha. So in the course of the panel discussion, I will be switching into Zongha with Chencho. Yes, I can speak Zongha by the way.
But I would now like to request Rinpoche to share a bit on this topic and why dream and reality, it's important to talk about it. And also why Rinpoche picked such a video to show us just before the panel discussion started.
First of all, very, very happy to be here again with my dear students of Lungtenzampa, teachers, and all the guests here. And also, for this year, this is the first time I'm coming here. So first of all, a little bit late, but nevertheless, very happy Losar, very happy New Year to all of you. And in a way, today, I feel that in a way I'm the most inappropriate person to speak today because, as you all know, Chencho is a star footballer, athletic. Neither am I athlete. Only thing I do is padiyatra. It's distracting. It's not athleticism. Neither. So in a way, I guess I'm athlete of padiyatra. In that way, yes, we walk I must have walked at least 5,000 kilometers. So yes, maybe, So in a way, neither am I, what do you call it, a successful person, like my friend Dechen, Jamyang, and Namgay. Because as a Rinpoche, it's very hard to say what is success. In one way, he's always like His Holiness Thimphu, who goes around giving tirelessly, going to 21 Dzongkha, giving teaching day and night, tons of thousands of people, is also considered a success in the church. But in another way, the Milarepa, who doesn't meet anybody, who doesn't even have a nice clothes to wear, stays in the chapu, is also considered a success. So church is very hard to define, what is success, what is not success. In terms of employment, Lavachin, in one way, I'm not employed. I don't get salary, I don't work for government, anybody. But in another way, I think sometimes, I'm so busy that I think I'm more busy than people who are working. So I'm neither employed nor employed. So in a way, I'm a very funny position. So I myself wonder, what am I doing here? But then I thought, Bhutan is known as a country of Dokhampa, blessed by Guru Parma Sambhava, Shabru Rinpoche, it's on the Gyeltshen, great spiritual kings. And we say that, we talk a lot about GNH. The GNH basically means that, of course, the education, the success, everything's important, but so is the heart, the mind. Because for example, if your heart is broken, it's not really the heart, it's the mind, right? Because heart can the same maybe dead body dead body doesn't have heartbreak, doesn't have dream and reality. So same. And everything, my life as a tree is all about the mind. So I thought maybe there might be some elements of my understanding of Dharma that may be helpful to you guys, so I can just share with you. So in terms of my own, I'm really not here to say what is right or wrong, what you should do, shouldn't do. I'm just here to make you understand things from different points of view. For example, it is said that from the church point of view, every decision that we do should always have a wisdom and compassion, should lead our life. So what does that mean to us in our life? For example, Namgay was telling me that there's a lot of, pressure in the children, especially in class 10s, about what kind of career you should have. And then many of you feel like you want to do something else, but your parent wants to, you to do something else. Something which is not your choice. So where does the wisdom and compassion come in here? So I think the compassion part is to always understand each other's motivation. For example, we have to ask ourselves, why is my parent pushing me so much in this, For example, to be a doctor. Why? Why is pushing me? I want to be a football star. Why is my parent, free treatment? Why? Why? So we really think about it. And think of yourself not as a daughter, but as a mother. Because one day you will be a mother, you will be a father. Why am I pushing my child? Why is she pushing? Then you will realize that it is because your parent loves you so much. And they think that as a doctor has the best possible, career for you. That you will do. It's like, I heard that in Thimphu, Bhutan, most shortage we have is doctor. So if you have become a doctor, you won't have to wait for 1 year to get a job. Like the graduates for guaranteed thing. So you have to understand your mother's kind of, the motivation. Why is she kind of pressuring you? So I think that's where I see the compassion part. Understanding why my mother does this. Why is she pushing me? Now in terms of wisdom part, right? In terms of wisdom, I will say that if you understand that now is your mother 100% right? It is very hard to say. Generally, I will say that if you 50-50 percentage, I will say 70-80% parents are usually right, because they are more older than you. So that means they see life more, they have more experience, everything. Every naughty thing you have done, they've probably done it. Maybe they don't tell you. Every difficulty you have, heartbreak, everything, probably they have gone through. So they have experience. So that means 70-80% their advice should be really listened to. But does that mean they're 100% right? No, I don't think so. They might want you to be a doctor, but in the future, if you turn out to be, instead of doctor, you turn out to be great, I don't know, maybe a teacher. And when he or she sees that you are such a great teacher, her heart will change. Because basically what she wants is, she doesn't really care that you are a doctor or she just wants to make sure that you have a good future. As a doctor, as a whatever, but in her idea, maybe she used to see that doctor is very good, in her opinion, very good for you. That's why she's pushing you. But ultimately, if you are successful in whatever way you can take care of yours, I think your parent will be happy in the long run. Maybe a little upset for a while. So that's the wisdom part, is that your parents are not 100% right. For example, if I'm cooking ematase, for example, I don't know how to cook ematase at all. I used to make tea, but that's also I've forgotten. So that means that, if I'm sure many of you are a great cook. So between me, and whose advice should I listen to? Probably I should listen to your guys' advice, Emma's. I'll listen to you definitely. If you tell me Rinpoche, Emma, I'll say yes, I'll listen to you. But does that mean that I have to listen to 100%? No, because maybe like Ematazi zobe, instead of Ematazi, I might make a very new dish. So instead of making Ematazi, I might make a new dish which might become the favorite of the Buddhist in the future. Never know, right? So the wisdom part is, yes, your parents are 50-80% right, but your own dreams can also be right. You might not be, And then in terms of understanding your own dreams, right? You have to understand, for example, why do you want to be maybe a footballer, maybe a businesswoman, maybe our social champion, my friend Namgay here, And of course, the mother part, I have nothing to say. Dechen is a very great mother, also businesswoman, and she's also a great spiritual practitioner. I've known her for more than 9 years from Thimphu time when I used to study there. So you have to, all of you have to ask yourself, you all have dreams. For example, I want to be a movie star, I want to be a doctor, teacher, And sometimes we don't like when parents tells you, instead of movie star, be a teacher, instead of, singer, be a dancer, or whatever. You don't like it. Why you don't like it? Because you think that your parents are kind of influencing you, of their own choices. But it is also a fact that we are all influenced anyway. Unless when you came out of your mother's womb, you said that, I want to be a movie star. I want to be a businesswoman. If you said that, then that means definitely it's your own pot.
if you did not say that, that means that if you want to be a movie star, you must have been inspired by, I don't know, maybe it's Datin Vida, you know. If you want to be a journalist, you have to be influenced by her. She's influencing you. So we are all influencing each other. Right? So we can't really say that, you know, Namgay Zampa influence is very good, my mother's influence is very bad, you know. I mean, they're equally good or equally bad. So we just have to understand that why do I have this dream also? So that is my contribution, just to make us understand each other. I have really no idea. As I said, in career, everything, I really am nobody. Thank you. Namgay was asking me, why did we choose the video? Actually, for that I have to thank my webmasters, and I think they found it. They thought it was something that many children will go through.
Sometimes we have sometimes children have difficulty in exam in life because of problems at home. Maybe parents are not together. Maybe your parents are divorced. So just because your parents are divorced, yes, definitely we go through a difficult time. But is that 100% reason to say that that's why I'm not doing well? Is it really fair? Is it really right? I think that's why they chose it.
Thank you, Rinpoche. We're going to come to some questions. I'm also going to give you all the opportunity to ask our wonderful panelists questions from your side. But before that, I have a very important question to ask you.
Who saw the breaking news about One Direction yesterday or this morning? Anyone? One Direction is a really popular boy band right now. All the boys are very good looking, and I'm thinking they're more popular with the girls. Not too sure about the boys. Can I see a show of hands? Do you know what happened to One Direction last night at midnight? Anyone? I won't let you. Oh, you're there. Would you like to tell me what happened yesterday? Okay. How many of you are heartbroken by Zayn Malik leaving the band? Oh, look at the girls. See? So quite a bit of excitement in the room. Thank you so much. I don't know your name. Your name, na? Yishe. Thank you, Yishe Togel, yes. Thanks, Yishe. Why I was asking you this is now, you see, in my time, we had a really famous boy band called the Backstreet Boys. And all of us were in love with them. You know what my dream was? That I would get to go to a concert and talk to Nick Carter. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Nick Carter and Backstreet Boys. She seems to know them. You must have some older siblings. She's seated in the 4th row right in front. But this is what my dream was. So imagine, I was in the 6th grade.
And there was Backstreet Boys in Thimphu. I was back in Thimphu. I was actually studying in Nepal before I came here. And then we had one Archie's gallery at the end. I'm sure I'm the And then, we used to rush because they'll bring the Backstreet Boys ki poster and Boyzone, and we'll be there, trying to get the best Backstreet Boys poster. So, that was my dream. And I used to live, breathe, write letters to them. We used to have these, my aunt used to get these magazines from the US where you can send them fan letters. And that was the time when Leonardo DiCaprio also came out and Titanic happened. And all the girls were again going crazy about Leonardo DiCaprio. It was a lot of blonde boys in my time. Then I grew up, and my dream changed, Right now, of course, I do dream about meeting some celebrities, but of course the artists I like have changed. Did I want to be who I am right now? No. All I knew was when I was 16, I saw this woman walking the streets of Kathmandu, and she was dressed really well, and she was carrying this briefcase kind of a bag, and she was walking very confidently, and I thought, when I'm 25 years old, I want to be like that. I don't know why I thought 25. But I got to 25, I carry some bags like her. I don't know, in my head, I think maybe I'm trying to imitate how she walks. But I'm quite happy with who I've turned out to be. But the thing is, like Rinpoche was saying, the influences, what influences you? I'm so happy that the influences that stayed with me was not to become Nick Carter when I grew up. I mean, my singing abilities are so wouldn't have made me a pop star. But then I was always my family and all my friends say that I've always been able to talk a lot. Ever since I could talk, which is basically early in life. so it's worked in my favor, and I found something that I'm really passionate about and something that matches my skill, which is my ability to talk to anyone really under the sun. So this is why I believe that journalism is a calling for me. BBS happened by accident, but I'm going to continue studying a little bit of journalism. This is why I've taken a bit of a break. But this is my dream, and I'm so fortunate to be among those few people who can live their dream. And it isn't as if I had an easy time getting to where I am, because my parents and my family never supported my decision to become a journalist. I didn't want to do the RCAC like most of the graduates wanted to do. I refused to do my orientation because I didn't want to be like everybody else. And there were that time we hadn't crossed 1,000 mark. It was in 2007 when I graduated. My parents never wanted me to study English literature, which was my favorite subject from the time I was really, really small. So then we've all had to overcome challenges to be where we are. You might feel like things aren't working for you.
Things weren't so great. I come from a broken family. My parents were separated, my mom remarried and was divorced again. But like Rinpoche was saying, to some of us use that as an excuse not to live up to our full potential, you know? I could have used that as an excuse and been like, you know, I'm so affected at home that I can't concentrate on my studies. But I always felt like I had to prove something to myself, that I could be something and do something on my own. Because at the end of the day, if Namgay is happy, I think I'm okay. Yeah, so that's like, because Rinpoche wanted me to talk a little bit about myself, but I want to, you know, going on from here, I'd like to bring Chencho Gyeltshen into this conversation now, because Chencho also didn't become a football star. He didn't wake up one day and say, Taliban, champion Benny, you know, I want to be Bhutan's best striker. No, you know what? Chencho used to play taekwondo. He was into taekwondo and he had, you know, not even seen football on TV so much. And he actually got interested in football when he was in the 6th grade more, when you came to Thimphu. So tell us a little bit about how your interest in football began, what the journey's been like you, and how your parents initially didn't support you playing football also.
Football TV maru lesson football. Taekwondo cricket Anale Rangi Shivola, the Ramkadina Chudu Mamyoga. Rangi Chuduti the Antinare TV Rangi Shivola, the Chudu Kachina Mamyoga. The Naipo football at Mola, the Ranale, the city so to Sukola, Himama, Chuka and Matago Timola, the Thimphu Boiba of Midi. Selection, national team selection of Rosera. The Naloimola, Taekwondo Ganano, the Ashimichima, Changji Devara, the Changji Leonda, Machangi under 13 national team selection Denova, the Charajil D to the national team Yani Selectora selection, the Bemasuru, Kyomji Jamatokagi Nivala, the Machamatove. Charity Murmur last Chimor. The football Kadipina Mashivasila, Kutambadi. Lekutambadi, Amchiput say Michela. Kick at the shoot Ivala. Kick the ghost to get the Sally Bivala, the Chutu does no miss Bival. There was a charge in the church of the Amchiliru Madela. The football job game this Chabdala. First 11 nights in Emil Ahmadi, substitution in Ahmadi. The chart is to the Nastigono Memola, Coach to Zulu, the first 11 nights in Nick the Rangitim Gola, the Nagyan Malum Chichu to be said. The Ahmadi's first 11 in Mivola, the day at the Ranginosum Legion Star, the coach training Sarela, Maragi, Sosovera, training Maragi Marabila. Training Zagendra Bila, the ghost to go up to Jimola. Emma Bangladesh Ribala, Bangladesh 2007 Nala. Emma substitution Naila, the ghost 70 minutes is now go up Jimbala, substitution baby. The Leandro, the cook up Jimidi, the Nagi Zungo, Sevi, Hemar Devala, cook up in the Rangi Zungo, grab the ghost Devala. The 70 minutes of winter Jimola. Tandu Marek Jacha Jibe Japchivala. Zagendra Japchivala, the Koshki and the Atsi, Koshki, Lutilla, namsibi dijum chapchi tari next time na le first level chugi selab dewana tele am cham chimemana tarungai ko majala training mara benigi training chagendra bela jendis training thare mara sosobera mara jo training be tele national team na 2011 na le jab jumola senior national team na the senior chunko di lai ma lo 17 nam chila 16 17 na national team na devala dinara khungi ati chunko imese bom du chigi ati ta ngai baby soup se no be khungi namse chala janumi bala khungi ta disuko bimos ko tidi rangi shibo mola ta kachira biru ladi ngachi la kachira biru chagendra bewachin rupli mapel thobewala the 2019 na substitution ina tele anole matsura kungi chalu 2012 na saf game chawa jewala Delhi na anolu first game ngachi silla ka chawa jewala anol kungi chama jewala se mashila mara ngai no sundri kokopchi gunni bela dila kokopchi nachi sagin ru chadu sera debala tadi dogola na che kachira bela ta ladi na ta game na ba yusuda chuldera tadi bigumala ta na ta football chi bojina ta na game multi-stick mola ta chubojin ta ma striker na chubojin na na defense kare bhi beat deni na tele ta ball te katli ta ekin jamni na an chulera tari logola tele nagi ta mi riru rasalu petas kodola ta nagi petas gochin Cristiano Ronaldo nagi kogi video dise lashara taila ta training na berala the training time 2 na watching kogi 1 amchilera ungola kogi amchilera un koragi ta coach ti sumai panasuni koragi training gomola coach to impress beni tenne mola ni ta coach lo nachi kachira biru ta level chumola level ta press beni tenne da ansu ngai kholle petai la bole na bere la ngai ta ma training churu pasang mana go jinga chi jile ju la ba chi jile ju ko chi dong ga chi ju wa ta ta de go chi mid ko chi chi chana be de wala ta chi la ga tere ba chi maru chi be wala la maru chi be chi chana be wala ka ra gi be dele ta charti much the katu judo mola ta football to game with ta je celebration bindu wala ta charti la wala lagi atar di game ngachi sim gai cha ati thon sera wala ta ni cha thun na mathun na di rangi lavainda ta chi ladi lishum rangi ladi lishum jugo bachin rangi lad lishum jo bachin changi cha thumachin la lishum junga mijunga rangi ro shela tele nabi da mola cha thumachin meni la mola achhe thumachin meni la mola cha thumi to sigi banglan cha ma thumi to sigi mila no kare a cha thumi cha meni si mila
Remember Chencho chunalo 같이 방문식 때도 주게 아빠가 애기고래 주 감지자 잡디기 잡디별로 잡주미세 해마라 초디 다섯개 곳을 납치 슬랍되면 나가도 다니고래 아치지 같이 students so to the staff share this with you.
나 피체남 지금 내가 먹을래. 근데 나는 시험을 피체남 지금 미나. 근데 왜 팀우지 아빠다 스튜디오라 클래스 처음 사이가라. 처음 바꾸나 그때 우긴 기준 유에. 근데 나이 누구는 클래스 처음 내가 다 피체를 고 자니스 니가라. 근데 다 고마시 나리야 마니마 폼다스 조베 딜리시 비라. 다 나이 Pecha class Chandler Kuja with the football na Mount Roy Kevach Karib do se Tival Apadido. Maybe Apadis in Magala. The Puhima football could empty machine killer. The Pula Nola. The Pecha de Kachi, Slanola. They may took Selatilla. Apagila Tola. Chuni Susata Slatola. The Chuni Kati Tochi. They began at all. The top selector. The Chuchi Chuni can I kill Kitayvala. The Chuni Nahita Mola. The Tutia Nidu Matimela. The Tarumay Apadasa Jivala, Padasa Juve, Taradin of Chimola. Nishumbera of Chilap. Pitcher come to Tare, Sakan Mapula with Swiss Gadela for you. Chesabella Gadela. Apai Latella, the lady. The Choriki, Apai Didavala. The Chitel Virtue can't say give a Sasuka Selabdala. Dua Tamadra and Mundala. The Nailapilla. The Rangi Shiva, the Rangi Churu to come Cheva. Mangarai Nomola. Malu. Gender Madu Churu Cheese, Garagi, no Ilahimanara. Apollo Lapchilla. My two gay cup Nalu, that the two gay cup Constanti, Mikam Minuvala. My two gay cup football consecutive, two gay cup Sambasuru, Chica cup, Jube, Chat Iris Sasu, say Apollo Lapchina again. Then Apoila. They watch it Chorikita, Benime, and the Apagi. The Apollo did the job, the Apollo, Madame Nina. Another thing I did, draw Jachela Jacha Chivala, Continental. That much Lani China be watching, that Cheva with the Mola, Hemanavilama, that Pechalo at the Gimola, the Council at the Gin, that teacher Palachimas, Tulechimas, Junola. The Latina be watching Tangai Tatu, Makanti jam to the talk at the Mola, Jacha Ginovala. The Marai Tomela, the Marikansi, the Lishum Judea is Nomela. The Materi Ladi La Kachira Peru, Materi La Bimulu, Tisha Povera. Kachira Peru, the respect La Memona. Kachira Peru, La Lalviki guitar Tony Gaimona, Lalviki Kansi, Lalviki Shapatin Gavana. Two the Machiki, Mate Hakovela. Tani La Zungi. Much namus much of thought of the Mevas Hakovela. The volleyball, this one, the volleyball on the submit, the Lishun the Bola, the Hakovola, the volleyball in the Machiki Totoga and Togala. The Tomatogin, the Pichana Jogos Lumbina, the Kansan Josh and Mola. Ronaldo and the Sula. The two who bang at the rare, Moshami Trishidus Lamina. Maybe not some of the rare, the maybe can't reach a couple of Java Joe, the Turichi Vision Zone, delle tatru digi thaga gene delle menkatisnal raro digi no so bonus ni perche.
Chencho is indeed inspiring. I'm going to be talking to Dechen now, who's come here as a wonderful mother. But you know, I wanted to make a comment on our Bhutanese parents actually. You know, we're very fortunate to have parents who can point us out our weaknesses in Rinpoche. If you watch this reality show on TV, you have people on American Idol. How many of you watch American Idol? Or The Voice? Or Got to Dance? Or Druk Superstar? You're all watching Druk Superstar as well. But you know, sometimes you see these parents actually pushing their children to believe in a dream that isn't very real, or to believe in a talent that doesn't exist. For instance, they may say,
Oh my God, you're a fabulous singer, my daughter. I mean, of course, we are all the apples of our parents' eyes. But then, I mean, some parents take it to another level where I'm like, really? Are you really doing your kid a favor? Your kid can't sing for nuts. And then you're telling the kid to go in front of everybody on national TV and make a fool of yourself. And when the judges like Simon Cowell and all have a problem, they're like, what is your problem? My daughter can sing, my son can sing. And you're like, really? I mean, I'm glad we have these parents who go, you know, even though you're topping your class, they'll be like, oh, no? Like, you know, they never say anything. My grandmother says nothing nice about me still. They'll be like, oh, you know, excuse me, please appreciate me, you know, I'm like valuable, I'm a valuable human being. But I mean, this is a fantastic trick that up to these parents have. Like, they like to put you down wherever they go. I mean, they're a little too realistic. And then, you know, we have different kinds of families in Bhutan. There's different family setups. And then Dechen has a wonderful family. And just before we came, she was telling me about how her youngest son, I taught him for 2 months because right after I graduated, like I told you, all I knew was I didn't want to be in the civil servants. So one of my aunts was very kind enough to invite me to her school. And I met him then and I was asking him, Dechen, so where's your youngest son? I don't see him anywhere. And she told me such a fantastic story, and I really want her to share the story of herself and her younger son with you today, love.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, my youngest son, Doji, just celebrated his 15th birthday. There's so many stories to say about him, I wouldn't know where to start, but the one relevant to here, of course, is about where he is right now. But there's a very interesting story I must share, you know, because it's really sweet, and I think just to bring some humor and you know, into the event today. He's 3.5 years old. He's sitting at the back of the car. Very seriously, he tells me, he says, "Mommy, ngachulu chilapni." So I turned around and I said, "Oh, kachimo vidoji." He said, "Nganyen chapni lo." I'm suchi me guni. I want to marry both of them. I said, not one, two. Why don't you know you can't? He said, why not? Everyone's married. So I said, no, you don't get married at 3.5 years old. You have to wait till you're older. And I said, you can't do that. And he said, why? I said, how are you going to look after her? He said, Mom, you look after her, I'll just marry her. So this is the 3.5-year-old boy. He is, I call him my superstar. I have 4 children, but you know, each one is different. And as you can see, I'm smiling from beaming from year to year when I speak about him, because he's the superstar in the family. No dream is too big for him, you know. And if that shatters, he just goes on and has another dream, which is even more fantastic than the last one. So, you know, some children, of course, have this innate ability and resilience to get up, pick themselves up and go on. And lucky for them, not all of us are like that. Even I myself wasn't like that. I used to be under the covers, under the bed, you know, feeling miserable if something that I had planned for didn't work out. So, I mean, like I said, so he's lucky, so resilient, he just goes on and has another dream. When he was in Thimphu primary school, where Namgay was talking about, his cousins were very good athletes. My goodness, they could dribble a ball and, you know, shoot and do all sorts of things. They were really talented. And actually, if basketball was big in Bhutan, they'd probably be the Chenchos of basketball. Yeah, but Ugadoji tried so hard to fit in.
because he really wanted to be a part of this group. So he practiced and he played, and he couldn't run. He was very chubby at that time, so he couldn't run beyond a few meters. And he'd come back huffing, puffing, and he also had asthma. So it was so difficult for him, poor fellow. And he always felt like, he used to come home and he used to tell me, Mom, I'm such a failure, I can't play basketball. And I used to tell him, it's okay. There's something else you'll find, something else you'll be interested in. But he wasn't, because all his peers were playing basketball, and that's what was hip, that was cool, it was in, wearing their fancy shoes, fancy jerseys, and this is what he wanted to do, and he was miserable. And as parents, when your child's dreams are shattered, your dreams are shattered. I'm sure your parents, like Namgay will say, Buddhist parents, that's the thing, a child falls, one on the head, yes, and then and then you have Western parents who come and say, oh my God, are you okay? Are you feeling fine? This, that. A Buddhist parent, and for us, it's like that. And well, in the same, I tried so hard not to do that with my own children, because that's what our parents and our grandparents did and still do. But yeah, this is what, so, when his dream was shattered, he wanted so much to be a basketball. When his dream was shattered, my dream was shattered. I felt so sorry for him. I would go and pray, please, make him into a good player so that he can enjoy with his friends, But very soon, he moved on to another school, and what was the fad there? Cricket. So I had Dokhampa trying to learn how to play cricket. Not good in cricket either. Come back, he wanted the cricket bat and I don't know, whatever, all the paraphernalia for sports. Come back and say, oh, I'm no good at it, and be miserable. And there, his dream shattered, my dream shattered. My son is not going to be a cricketer. Next, he's into tennis. Oh, he played every sport, you name it. I spent a lot of money trying to, keep alive my son's dream, thinking I need to support him and I must help him. But he kept failing and failing and failing in all the sports. And the thing is, he was so miserable. And I read somewhere, because he kept thinking that he was a failure in sport, and I read somewhere it says, you either learn to fail or you fail to learn. All of us were brought up saying to be a failure is like so bad. And of course agreed, many of us, if you don't put in an effort and if you're just going to be sleeping all day, putting our legs up, watching TV, late into the night, WhatsApping and Instagramming and I don't know what other else, you're up to till 2, 3 in the morning and you're going to fail in your exams, well, serves you right. That's what you get for not working. And this is what I told my children, if you don't work and you fail, serves you right. But if you worked really hard and you don't get the results you want, there's so many lessons to learn. What is it? You know what not to do, and not knowing what not to do is a great place to start. Anyway, back to Dokhampa. So he's tried every sport, everything. He can't run, because he has his asthma. He was not as energetic or enthusiastic in the other games also. And then he finds golf. He comes to me one day and he says, Mom, I want to play golf. I'm really interested in golf. I need to buy a golf set. I said, no way am I going to be spending thousands of neutrons buying you a golf set. It's not going to happen. You use one of your father's own golf clubs, And that's exactly what he did. So he starts playing golf, and I told my husband, I said, it's just for a few months. We encourage him, but it's for a few months, that will also go. But it went on. Not only for a few months, not only for a few years, but it's been many years now since he started golf, and he found his passion. After failing in so many other sports, he found something that he was so interested in, so passionate about. Whenever he's home, he's on the golf course 24 hours a day. When he comes home, he's practicing. When he's not practicing in the evening, he's listening to all the motivational speakers and reading up on old-timers like Arnold Palmer and more recently Tiger Woods and all these great golfers, and trying to be inspired by them. And when Chencho was talking, it really what really struck me with what Chencho was saying is that find a sport that you're good at. Like Namgay saying, we have so many parents encouraging our thing. Oh, you're so good, you're such a great artist when you're just drawing squiggly shapes. Oh, you're such a great singer when you're croaking half the time. I'm sorry, that's a harsh reality. So we have to be realistic with what we're good at, what we're talented at, look for the areas you're good at and pursue it. And like Chencho was saying also, he was so interested, he worked hard, and at the same time, a little bit of manipulation also was required. You're going in front of the right people, really trying to do the right thing. Yeah, great, good job. And I think it takes a lot of grit, a lot of talent, a lot of determination, and that's what I can proudly say that my son had also, and we had sent him to study in England because he wanted to pursue the golf program, so we sent him to England. But last year, in summer, my husband got an email from a school in America that we had never heard of. It was some golf academy. And they said, attached is a letter that your son has written to us. And over there, my son had written to the school himself, inquiring about the admissions, inquiring about their golf program, and he had also mentioned saying that my parents are not into golf the way I am. They're more interested in academics, and of course as parents that's exactly what, for us, most importantly is academics. And he said, can you please write and tell them about your academic program, but for myself I want information on the golfing program there because I'm really passionate about it. And after we got this letter, I told my husband, there's no thinking about it, We have to encourage him, for a 14-year-old boy to be so passionate about a sport, to be willing to go out and put in that extra effort. So this is what we did, and we got him admitted into a golf academy in America, and that's where he is right now. He's pursuing his golf sport and enjoying it very much. And at the same time, he knows that for us academics is important, so he has to keep his grades at a certain level, otherwise he comes right back,
Isn't that an inspiring story?
I've known him since he was a little boy, and he was such a cute little boy. Every time he would get into trouble and be like, Ogendoji, and he'd be like, man, can I sing you an Elvis Presley song? And he was just in the first grade that time, so tiny. And he has this really nice personality, and for me to hear that he went out on a limb to do this about something he really cared about is really indeed very inspiring. You could hear similar themes in what Dechen shared and what Chencho shared. You hear hard work, you hear belief in something that you really want to do or want to be. But then underlying it all, you've heard a parent's perspective and you've heard a child's perspective, and then they're both not wrong and they're both not right. What I'm trying to tell you is there's always two sides to the coin, and it's so easy now, and I want to bring in Rinpoche, then we'll open up the floor to the questions. When you are in a situation to get really angry with your parents and say, these are the people I love, and they just don't get me, they don't understand what I want. And it's so easy to stop talking to your parents because they don't, when I finally got to college, because I was fortunate enough to have good grades throughout my life. I was generally a very curious, wanting to be a teacher's pet kind of a kid. So I would do well in class. But then there was always the pressure on me from teachers as well as school administrations, wherever I would go to pursue science.
So commerce, like arts was never an option for me. When I got to college and I said I don't even want to wait for a scholarship, I want to go to a college, and I already knew which college I wanted to go to and what I wanted to study. I went back to Delhi to Lady Shriram College, and if you all know the Burmese Aung San Suu Kyi, she's an alumnus from my college as well. And I had to find tooth and nail to get this course because my aunt asked me, she's like, so what are you going to do after your course? Do you want to become an air hostess? Like, respect your brain, you have a brain. And then I was like, but that's a job too. Then somebody else comes and says, oh, so you want to be resurrected as a lecturer? Because apparently that's what happens to a lot of English graduates. I had a tough 2 months where I had a lot of pressure to wait for a scholarship because they wanted me to study biology or something, which I love biology, but I loved English more. But then I stuck to it, and there was a time when I was really upset with my family and my parents for pushing me to do something that I did not want to do. But I stuck it out, and your parents, do come around. Like Dechen came around for our son to go to the golf academy, but then you have to have that dedication. I had the grades to do well in English, you need to have a lot of things working for you as well as the passion. I just wanted to ask Rinpoche, because even Rinpoche yourself used the example of
how our parents were once like ourselves, and we will be like our parents later on. And then there are also times when Rinpoche himself tends to get a little upset.
He has human emotions like the rest of us. So through Rinpoche's experience
and his wisdom, I'd like him to share with us, how can you react to something that can be confrontational? as students here and also some of our teachers who are parents, and how young people can understand why parents may be how they are, which is a different species, I know, and why we can't understand them, Rinpoche.
First, I really thank Chencho and Dechen and Namgay. So I really learned a lot today.
And also, I do identify with a lot of these things. It's true, I am a human being. And I've gone through all of these, true. And one of my dreams was, of course, to be a pilot was my dream. Because I wanted to. Because I like pilot because you can travel a lot. Also because you don't do any negativity, like, you know, if you have a restaurant, you kill animals, sell meat. But, you know, pilot, air hostess, stewardess, I used to admire that job. So I'm not a pilot, but I do get to travel around. Sometimes even if it's, you know, within Bhutan. So in terms of, you know, when you're in a difficult situation, like, confronting with your parent, I was thinking that there's, you know, I was thinking 4 things, you know, appreciate. First thing is, I think, appreciating, you know, because Namgay said there's a two sides to every coin. So in a way, you can appreciate the pressure from your parent. There's a way of appreciating it. Because another way of looking at the pressure is love. Imagine that you have a parent, you go to say that mother, mom, dad, I want to become a doctor. Yeah, you know. Say like, no, I want to be a dancer. Yeah, you know. I don't want to study it all. Yeah, You know, I want to go and, you know, like just beg on the street or something. Yeah, I mean, do some of you have a dog at your house? Some of you have pet, right? So just imagine, right? Look at the street dogs, right? They have nobody to care for them. They have to look around, you know, nobody to love for them. And you here are, you know, like you have pet, you are washing the dogs, you are like, because flea do, they catch and brush the dog, no? Do you think dog really likes it? I don't think so. But what is the difference between street dog and home dog is that there's somebody who cares for them, right? You know, brush them here, you know, flea do. Similarly, when the parents are, you know, that's parents' version of you guys washing your dog and, you know, push.
So another way of looking at the pressure is love, is caring. And you have to appreciate it. Because I was just thinking that nowadays we always seem to, you know, I was just thinking a few days to myself that is the secret to feeling loved, is it gratitude? Is it really or not? For example, my birthday nambeoda, because, you know, since I share my thing, my parents are very traditional. So my parents, when I was young, but most of the time my parents never considered birthday important. So they always forget my birthday. So after a few months they will ask, when is your birthday? Nowadays they don't. Why? Because my friends and students, they always celebrate on the Facebook. So they're, oh, happy birthday. My father, usually they forget.
So now I have 2 ways of looking at it, right? One way is that my father and my parents are so bad, they forget my birthday. But another way of looking at it is, birthday means what? The day that I was born. That I'm alive. Why am I alive? Because of my father and mother's sacrifice of, you know, deciding to, you know, take care of me, keep in her mother's womb for 9 months, sacrifice, right? Many of you girls are beautiful. When you give birth, you lose a little bit of your looks. But you are willing to sacrifice that for your child, right? Some of you may not. I mean, you know, like, you know, many people here, I mean, they don't look like mother. But yes, many do. They change it. They give birth spots, you know, something dark here. That means they've already given birth. You know? So they're willing to do that. Why? So that we can exist. So the birthday itself is not about us celebrating, it's about the kindness of others that I'm celebrating birthday. So from my point of view, I will feel bad if I forget to call my parents and thank them on my birthday. Rather than, you know. So there's a way of looking at things from 2 points of view. And when I look at it from that point of view, I feel really loved. How lucky I am. I don't need my parents to say they love me. I can feel the love, or I can complain. And the second is about the change, right? Whether it is parents also, they change their mind, like Chencho's parents change their mind. Also Dechen also change because they love, they change. But not only parent, even you yourself will change. For example, I pray my best wishes that Chencho will be a superstar of Bhutan, make Bhutan famous, make our Palindrubiki famous. Yes, but after 15 years, even his dream will have to change. Because why? He will be too old to play. And his dream will have to be a coach. So his dream is changed. Right? So life will change, dream will change, and you will change. Everything in the world is changing. Then the third point is about anything is possible. Why? Because as a Buddhist, we know Lejumde. What does Lejumde mean? Lejumde means that if you put all the cause and condition on effort, anything is possible. Even though some of you may not be football star right now, if you work hard, you can become like Chencho, you can become like Namgay. And as a Rinpoche, you're probably better than me also. I was very bad in my studies. I was the worst student in my class, really. And I'm sure you can be as good a mother as Dechen Jamyang. So that is possible. And in terms of job, career, which is good career, which is bad, it depends on you. For example, I was telling this time I went through a lot of schools in the different parts. So I was telling them that in a way, doctor's job is very good because you can help a lot of people. But in a way, I'm saying taxi driver is also very good. Why? Let's say that you have a heart attack emergency, you want to go to hospital, and there's no taxi driver. How will you reach to the doctor? Right? So in terms of respect, a taxi driver who has a great heart, I respect. He helps other people. You're a doctor, but only thing you think was about money. And like many doctors in India and all different countries, you will hear of doctors stealing kidney from patient and selling. So great doctor is somebody who has a good heart. So that is, I think, what I was trying to say. Thank you.
So we'd like to take in questions. All four of us are open to questions from all of you seated, including teachers at the back, and if Rinpoche likes your guests as well, if they have questions to ask. Please do raise your hand and introduce yourself if you have a question. Any questions? Anything you want to ask about being your true self, dream and reality? And we're not doing literal interpretations of dreams, by the way. You're not going to say you dreamt of something last night and then you're going to ask Rinpoche to interpret your dreams. These things cost money, by the way. So we're not doing it for free today. Or you can do it online. But no, if you have questions, we're going to be here till 4. So we have about 18 minutes left now. So then please feel free to raise your hand and ask. Any questions?
There's a boy at the back, please. If you could get up, introduce yourself, and I think shout the question. Yeah, we can hear you, we can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. You want to ask Rinpoche a question? Okay. Okay, every person is influenced, so are monks also influenced? Is this your question? Every person cannot escape influence, so are monks also influenced? Okay, thank you.
Definitely, ma'am. Actually, we look for influence. That's why every morning I go to Guru
Rinpoche's statue, read his teaching, Sadhguru Rinpoche's teaching, to influence me. I want to be influenced in a positive way. Definitely.
What is your influence? I'm always the devil's advocate and ask the most impolite questions, so I'm going to do that again.
Is there any time that monks monks or Rinpoche yourself also, like you were saying, how the experience for you is also human. Is there a time when sometimes there are influences that are negative, but you feel as if it's sometimes overpowering or overwhelming? Because I think for young students, yourselves and for ourselves, we've seen instances or read about instances where monks have been influenced in the wrong manner.
From my own life.
Firstly, even though I'm a Rinpoche, I'm not a very religious person. I don't really believe just because, somebody says so. But I like to study, I like to understand. So until 1920, I was not much into the Dharma. Of course I respect, but I studied a lot. So when you study a lot, it is like having like a paracetamol. So then what happened was, yes, a lot of negative influences leads to many, some pains in the life, some ups and downs in life. And then the medicine convinces me that yes, I should not have done that. What I learned was true. And luckily what I had paracetamol. Because from 5 years old I was trained to take paracetamol. Then what I learned as one learned from the Chu really stuck home when the life taught me, life matched what my teachers taught me.
Oh, you have a... Okay, since there's nobody else, can I go back to him if there's nobody else? Okay, yes. Chencho, okay. Yes, what is your question for Chencho? I don't think he said failed. I said Dokhampa button. Okay, interesting question, Chencho. So what he's asking is, Chapa Besajo, Belapchina, Dutilation Matin Church, Litza game base, the Kula, the Chapa Besajo, which is again the game to a Dutilation Demosu, the Apagitups, the Cassin, but the Mocha, the Kansas in the no. The Kula, the Chapa Besajo, the Apagi, me, Kadiberu, the college the best of Jogo, the Lalabu Chicachi Bibimol, Chiapa, Chica, Jaja Ponga, the Tilichuragi, and the Kansera Japanese Ponga, the Kachi Bibimol city.
Shirabiru apa disumbe lawachin di kaya hama ko chimyong sun re ngai apalu disumbe lakchabala pecha apage shela ma bangam chite pecha titse mi toy mola ma national job pech tani ach titse mi toy mola le ngai apalu disumbe shik lakchabala le apage din tuve se lakchabala apage Gyalwa lo di pa ani diodi dijumber shek la bachindi kage manim chimi.
So you have listened to your father after the dijumber shek la bachindi chimi moya.
He'll say yes, I'll get you the real answer later. Just teasing. But Chencho is an amazing guy. I remember the first time I met him, that was right after he won. So I called Chencho, I was hesitating a bit because usually when you become a star overnight, you tend to develop something called an attitude where you're suddenly unreachable to normal human beings. So I was like, Chencho, I call Japtano. They koi number thing I'll manage it never. Then I'll call Japchi. Have a touch in also to text Chibevona, busy the pond, Hadimo. Which is me, normal me, mate, I could be snapped. Then I had a balance me watching on the text to play with Japan, and a bit, called Jamyang. So I called Chencho, and he was so sweet from the start. I didn't expect because I know all of y'all saw him on TV, right? But don't remember the TV no? Chintai to see. Then suddenly you meet him, and I invited him because I help at YJ fundraising right now, work for scholarships for students like yourselves. So then he came over, I invited him to my office. We have something called Fun Friday in my office where we invite interesting people to come and talk with my colleagues and myself. It happens from 3:30 to 5 in the evening. So Chencho came by and he started talking to me like, wow, is this really the footballer who scored our winning goals? Because he was just so humble, exactly like how he is today. And I think it's so amazing for a young person who has achieved so much to speak with so much humility. It inspires somebody like me, I think, to be so humble in spite of all the achievements. You know, at the moment, he's waiting for tryouts for one of the topmost teams in Thailand. It's called Buriram. He went and trained with the team already, so he's on his way to realizing a dream. And yet, he also has to make sure that his expectations are not too high, because you never know what can happen with life, and he's a bit worried about that also. Some more questions from the floor?
Oh wow, I think I need to send you out of the room now and give us. We'll take a girl and come back to you. Dokha, if you could introduce yourself. Deepa. Okay, nice.
Is believing that, but when we go to emotional situation, we tend to do suicide and not to accept the reality. So my question is that when we talk about suicide, who do we are supposed to be? The person who commits suicide, family, friends, or teacher?
Okay, Deepa, if I have misunderstood you, please correct me, but let me repeat what you've asked to Rinpoche. What she's saying is, it's easy for us to distinguish between dream and reality when we're not in emotional situations. But as soon as you overcome emotionally, the lines are blurred, and especially if you were to look at suicide then. So then, where is the blame? Is it with the person who kills himself or herself? Is it with the parents? Is it with the family? The teachers? Is that what you asked? That's your question, right? Yes.
Thank you.
First of all, the reason we are doing talk like this, in my motivation, in all the speakers, school motivation,
is that such things like this will not happen. Suicides like this will not happen. Because you will realize that in one way we are all, few of us are failed in our dreams, right? I think, maybe instead of taekwondo has become football star, instead of pilot has become Rinpoche, and you always wanted to be.
I'm not too sure what I want. But I think I wanted to be a fangirl at one point, and I decided I can do something else.
So anyway, that means that we have many dreams, and if one fails, I think that we can't expect, it doesn't mean that there are many other things you will not be good at, right? I think like, Dechen Jamyang's son finally found out something she was very good at, fulfilled his dream. And as I said also, we all change, our dreams changes, So for something that is so changeable, I don't think the suicide is something that is very, I think very finite. I think when we are young, we tend to make everything very, as if because if you look at life as a whole, it's like a big ball, right? Let's say it's like a planet Earth gizumbe, life as a whole is like that. But when you get too involved in decision, it's like, whole planet matongwa, Bhutan nani Thimphu cham je thondo zum chibe. So it's like, class 12 na pass lewa chen tuk matuba chen ma suicide ni. Class 10 pass lewa chen, then my whole life I am okay. So they remember one. Class 12 na pass juru legitimate is one of the kind of assurance you will do well in life, but it's not a guarantee. Pass mapilar majuru, you can be successful in something else. Like Chencho here, sort of like example. I know myself, even I'm the worst. I only went to kindergarten for 4 months. So I'm the most uneducated of all of you. So anyway, in terms of blaming, I don't think that there's no point in blaming. There's no point in blaming our parents or blaming this or that person. But I think the most important decision when you do something like drastic is decision has to be by yourself. You have to be strong yourself. Right? For example, if you're on a diet, right, you can blame the TV commercial. You can blame somebody. My friend was eating chocolate so nicely, you can blame him. You can blame the chocolate company. Yes, but it's Machi michi gibe world change am zo mola. Advertise mapalar masa, chew chocolate masa, madam says it's very difficult. So they be the rangi seminado, rangi no samtang, the commitment, rangi randu. I think you have to be strong with yourself, develop strength with yourself, right? Rangi no kanan so they've been asking you to develop your own strength, your own understanding that dream asichi machi kara the dream here, dream the shatter to the taru dream sab chizoni mona. Mapalar dream lecture thamota, nabona se tatu class try pass chamni dream, tele college ki dream, tele nyen chamni ki dream, tele alu ki dream, alu ki session alu so alu thousand hamni ki dream. Then in the future you will worry about whether your children will have children or not also. So there will be so many dreams in life. It will be tireless to suicide so many. We can suicide only one time. Dream lasher to woman. I mean, I don't think we should take that, finalistic view.
We've almost come to the end of the program, but I'd like to invite Dechen to this conversation and ask her to react this question as a parent herself and about the bond between children and parents and the kind of impact it leaves on a person.
Sorry, I didn't understand your question.
Basically, just to answer the girl's question as well, I was just rephrasing. As a parent, when you hear of emotional turmoil that other young people, because you were telling me that you yourself enjoy a very open relationship with your children where you're very approachable, but there are also sometimes parents who are just not approachable because these are generally, and I'm speaking very generally, but these parents tend to take a very practical view to things. And sometimes emotional is seen as being something superficial and not exactly important because there's always something more important. For instance, you can't be unhappy because you have to concentrate on your studies and you have to pass your class and exams, right? You can't be stressed. That's what you need to focus on something similar. So I just wanted your reaction as a parent to this.
From my own experience, not only as a parent now, Rimpoche invited me as a parent, but I'm also a child. I'm a daughter, and from my experience, both not only as a parent but also as a child, I would say that both roles are as important, as difficult, as complex. But what helped me both as a parent and as a daughter is to develop the right attitude. I had a mother who was very hardworking and very authoritative. She was a disciplinarian, and I used to be so angry with her because she used to make me get up early in the morning, bring her bed tea. I had to clean the house, and make sure I was allowed to go out only after I had cleaned up and tidied up the house, while all my other friends were doing what they liked, and I hated it, and I thought that she was very cruel. But when I look back at it now, all that I am today, whatever I have learned, and accomplished, is because of the tough love she gave me. At that time, I know that even as a parent, it's so difficult for us to discipline. With my children, whenever they did something wrong, this, like she talks about cause and effect. And in a very simple way, at home, you do something wrong, you're punished for it so that you don't repeat it again. And my punishment was, I would have probably spanked them a few times more than I had to if my son didn't keep threatening to complain to somebody, a teacher or another family member, But yeah, what I used to do is I used to make them stand outside the house. And everyone thought that it was very cruel. But it worked, and our parents have used different methods, and sometimes it may seem cruel, but it broke my heart when I kept my child outside the house. I don't think any parent wants to punish their child. In the same way as I know that my mother did not want to make me feel bad when she made me clean the house. She thought she was giving me skills. And not only she thought, she knew she was giving me skills. I realize that now. That whatever I am today, my capabilities, my success, even my own spiritual journey has been planted by the seeds that were sown by my mother at a time when I was so rebellious and I hated it. I didn't like it at all. I thought my father was a god because he never said anything. And that's what we tend to do. We like the people who don't say anything to us, who don't want to correct us. And I was saying, as as a child, I felt that way, and as a parent, I know how difficult it is to discipline the children. So, from a parent's point of view, I want to tell all of you that the next time your parent corrects you, or shouts at you, or maybe it's not appropriate. A lot of the times, our parents are not equipped. They themselves don't have the skills.
We are lucky because we are educated. We have access to the internet. We have access to therapists, psychologists, friends who help us to teach, to correct our children. But many of you, I know, will have parents who are uneducated, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with having uneducated parents. But it also means that their way of expressing and correcting is not as appropriate as we would like it to be, because we're educated now. And we have a different way of viewing and seeing the world, and we expect different, ways of, disciplinary ways we expect, and we may not all rise to the occasion. But I don't think it's cause for us to feel so bad and so terrible, feel that our parents hate us. I don't think any parent is capable. Okay, maybe that 1 or 2, percent will be there. But generally speaking, parents, whatever they do, whether it may sound harsh or cruel, it comes from a place of love. It's just that they may not be able to express it in the appropriate way.
And I think it's very, very tragic for myself as a parent every time I hear that someone has committed suicide, because it is preventable. We can support each other. We are a small community, we're a small society, we are a small country, and we can reach out to each other, and it is preventable. And I think the reason why Rinpoche, and as a mother also, I'm so grateful and thankful to Rinpoche for organizing this event, and I'm so grateful and thankful to him for inviting me also to be a participant here, because I feel that in my own little way I am able to contribute just by sharing. I'm not a teacher, I'm not an expert on how to prevent suicides, no, absolutely not. For that we have professionals, but my own experiences to share as a parent, and hopefully to throw a little bit of light, and also to be a part of this move now that we need to start to prevent, suicides, young children, young adults. I think it's, for a small country like Bhutan, the numbers, especially over the last year, were too much. Every life is precious, and I think it is each and every one of our responsibility to do whatever little bit we can to try and ease, the pain and the sadness of, those around us. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank Rinpoche and I'm so happy that he didn't allow me to squirm my way out of it. Thank you so much.
I was just thinking as Dechen was speaking and the girl asked that question, I was trying to transport myself back to when I was your age, about 15. And my grandmother comes from that generation who's used to giving you tough love, which includes a little bit of hitting now and then. So she would hit me with a ladle on my head when she's angry, and I lived most of my life with my grandmother. And then I would feel so hurt because my friends were not experiencing those kinds of things. They were enjoying loving, affectionate parents who would never hit you. And I was like, oh, what did I do that I have to suffer this fate, Like, she's supposed to love me, but she's hitting me all the time. And then the sad part is, our generation, even my generation, grew up thinking that killing yourself is an option if you're feeling sad. Because the movies are telling you that, the books are telling you that. Oh, you feel like life is getting too difficult for you? Guess what? You can kill yourself and end your misery. Unfortunately, we've grown up in a lot of literature like that. Even to this day, we're being bombarded with a lot of things like this online as well as offline. Rinpoche feels that he needs to say a little more about suicide, considering how important this issue is to all of us now.
I think I really appreciate Dechen sharing as a parent.
About suicide, some of you will probably know what I've been saying every year. That every decision that we take in our life always have to have love or compassion. Love and wisdom should always go together. Otherwise, as you all know, love is blind. Blind love, right? So the wisdom has to always go together. For example, many people suicide for many reasons. If it's because of career, then I think we can see that, you are not good in something, you can be good in something. If it's in terms of emotion, maybe, for example, some children suicide because they feel that they've disappointed their parent. that they are not good enough for their, their parent expectations. So I don't want to see the, for example, maybe you fail your class, class 9 or class 12, and you feel that if I go back, I know my parents will be so hurt, so scolding, and I love my mother so much, I can't bear to see the pain, rather I'll kill myself. So if you do that, does that mean you have a love for your parent? Definitely. Because of your love, you can't bear to see the pain. But does that mean you have wisdom? Definitely not. Because if you fail in your class, your parent will be sad for 1 month, 2 months. But if you kill yourself, your parent will be suffering for the entire life. She will be replaying everything back in like watching movie. Could I have done something? Should I have said something? Should I not have said something? You will give pain to your parent for entire life. And even by, let's say, you study hard, you do very well, you are not successful in anything in life, but you can take care of yourself, your parent. When your parents are old, you are there to take care of them, give them food, love. I think your parent will be pretty happy with you. Actually, if you are very successful, probably you won't have time for your parent. You say, oh, I'm very busy, can I come next week? I'll send my secretary to help you. Okay, that's all.
With that,
we are going to end the panel discussion. I know some of you still have a lot of questions, but Rinpoche is very accessible to the students of Lungtenzampa. Dechen is also in Thimphu, and she is somebody who feels very passionate about these things. Chencho Gyeltshen can be found walking on the streets of Thimphu for a couple more months in case y'all want to mob him. I can't tell you where he lives, because then I'm sure all of you will be outside his house, but he is very much in Thimphu. And I am available online, even if I'm not here in person, and I feel very passionately about suicide and have written a lot on suicide because I'm basically trying to understand why it is that a lot of Bhutanese are killing themselves so often and so quickly. I think what's lacking is a bit of communication, but I just wanted to let you all know that you might feel very alone right now, but if you really reach out to somebody, there is always somebody for you to talk to. You just have to reach out. I've realized this through my own experience as well. I would like to thank my wonderful panelists.
it's always such a joy to be on a panel that Rinpoche chooses the guests for. It was such a pleasure to get to know Dechen today, right? And I look forward to more conversations with you. And Chencho Gyeltshen, such a pleasure to talk to you. Everybody thinks I'm bullying Chencho, by the way, because he's younger than me. He calls me Ashim. So they're like, Namgay because it's very sweet. But he's really nice, and I think y'all should get to know him so that y'all can understand where he comes from and where he's going, because all of us are on the same life path now. I'm going to hand the mic back to Ishe. Thank you so much for having all of us here at Lungtenzampa School today. Thank you.